Hey, good morning, everyone. It's 9 a.m. and this video is about faithfulness. So, it's a key of business that people have to be faithful. And you find this in a lot of people that they don't know what that means, even. So, I want to read a little story for you. Jesus liked to hang out with people that like to drink, and he drank himself. He didn't get drunk, but he drank, and he ate with them, and he hung out with tax collectors and sinners, and publicans, prostitutes. And here's one of the stories he told one of those times. And he said also unto his disciples, There was a certain rich man which had a steward, and the same was accused unto him that he had wasted his goods. And he called him and said unto him, How is it that I hear this of thee? Give an account of thy stewardship, for thou mayest be no longer steward. Then the steward said within himself, What shall I do? For my Lord taketh away from me the stewardship. I cannot dig. To beg I'm ashamed. I am resolved what to do, that when I am put out of the stewardship, they may receive me into their houses. So he called every one of his Lord's debtors unto him, and said unto the first, How much owest thou unto my Lord? And he said, 100 measures of oil. And he said unto him, Take thy bill, and sit down quickly, and write 50. Then said he to another, How much owest thou? And he said, 100 measures of wheat. And he said, Take thy bill, and write 80. And the Lord commended the unjust steward, because he had done wisely. For the children of this world are in their generation wiser than the children of light. And I say unto you, make to yourselves friends of the mammon of unrighteousness, that when ye fail, they may receive you into everlasting habitations. He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. And he that is unjust in the least is unjust also in much. If therefore ye have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon, who will commit to your trust the true riches? And if ye have not been faithful in that which is another man's, who shall give you that which is your own? No servant can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. So it's really worth studying, and God is looking for a certain type of character. One of the big things that I see here is that God is looking for the character of faithfulness. There's a lot to unpack, and you can go into it more and study and find deep things, but I like to look for the simple things, and this channel is about finding simple things. So first of all, it's a slam on Christians. It's a slam on the children of light, because it says right here, it says, the Lord commended the unjust steward. This is the guy who was embezzling, because he had done wisely. For the children of this world are in their generation wiser than the children of light. So he was accused. It doesn't say even whether or not the steward was actually so it says that he was accused of wasting. So some people call that embezzling. You call it wasting. That's like he's not spending the money correctly, and so that was what he was accused of. And it doesn't say that the um, rich man, the certain rich man, was actually wasting. It just says he was accused. But the accusation itself caused him to lose his stewardship. So the master commended him, because he was like, I can't be a steward anymore, so what am I to do? I can't dig, and I ain't gonna beg, so I'm gonna just make everyone's bill half off, or whatever they can afford real quick before I get out, so that they'll just let me live in their houses, and everyone will be friends with me because I hooked them up. I gave them the good hookup, and that's exactly what he's saying here. He's saying that that's pretty wise. Yeah. So, what does it mean to be faithful? And it says, if therefore you have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon, who will commit to your trust the true riches? So the unrighteous mammon is mammon was a false god, and it's interesting that Jesus would say, if you haven't even been faithful to your false god, who's gonna give you the true riches? It's like totally different way of thinking. Mammon also represents money. So if you have not been faithful to unrighteous money, who's going to give you true riches? True riches are like good character, love, joy, peace, gentleness, kindness, meekness, joy, and the Holy Ghost. And those things that we need to win: long suffering, patience. And we need the we need those things to be faithful. We need those things to win in business. And so, it's time to grow up and do good accounting. It's time to grow up and hire someone else to do your accounting. Our households, our own personal households as individuals, we need to learn the principles of finance. So there's scenarios like you own a truck, you own a dishwasher, you own things, you're steward over different things. You don't want to be wasteful. They break down over time, and we live in a world, barring miracles of God, they happen. You need to prepare for the things that break down. So create accounting, prepare for the next breakdown. If you have the funds now, you should be putting it aside for the next time. If you can prepare for a threefold event, 3 breakdowns, you have enough for 3 dishwashers to break down, and you have earmarked those funds in an asset generating income that generates income to produce for another light bulb. Light bulbs break down sometimes, so you need a new one. So then you put in enough in that asset to generate 3 more light bulbs, or 3 more dishwashers, or 3 more trucks. Start with what you can and be faithful. Don't put your money in the don't put your money in the wall, in a hole in the ground. You should loan it out to the moneylenders so that you can earn interest on it if you don't know what you're doing. Even 1% or 5% is better than 0%. So now, if you bought an asset that appreciates over time and it has a track record of doing that, you can always sell that and capture that money at a later date and use those funds. But if you bury something in the ground, or a talent, something that you know how to do, then you won't be successful. You have to use your skills and abilities. What do you know how to do? Use that to generate assets and income. Create products, videos, create videos about your skill or specialty, whether that be art or parenting or video games or whatever it is. Create things that can work for you while you're sleeping. These are what we call assets. If you don't know how to track assets, you can learn. You can give away these products in a nonprofit and call them in-kind contributions. Those things have value. People are interested in education on how to do a certain thing. That's just one example. There's so many other ways of tracking in-kind contributional products. Like, for example, if you give away a sandwich or free food, that sandwich has value in the marketplace. So, uh, a peanut butter jelly sandwich can go from a few bucks to upwards of $10, $20, depending on the store. If you're using brioche bread or however you're doing it. So you give it away for free in your nonprofit, and then that counts as an in-kind contribution. You track that and you build your assets. Assets can generate cash flow. That cash flow can be used to pay for expenses of your business. And it's legitimate because you track it and you have you track it and you have good accounting, generally accepted accounting principles. If you don't know what these things are, study books on it or find someone to help you. I recommend QBO Group, and you can find QBO Group through grantsgroup.com. If you don't have a nonprofit, QBO Group and the other grants that are available on grantsgroup.com can help you start a nonprofit. And there's grants for that, but then also it costs something to start something. So what do you have in your hand? If you start, you may not even be able to start with affording a nonprofit. You just need to prove yourself faithful in the thing that you like to do. So maybe you start by for one whole year giving away food, and you find a way to do that, or water bottles, or walking. I know that there are people who enjoy walking and praying, but don't just walk and pray. Do good too while you walk. Give away water bottles, sandwiches, first aid. Help people while you walk and pray. Don't turn a blind eye to situations like pick up trash while you walk and pray. These are all great ideas. Okay, so I hope I communicated faithfulness and doing things that are productive in the unrighteous mammon. If we can just practice in the simple things, then we will get the true riches. And those true riches are really awesome. All right, shalom.